All right. Did you see AEW?
Yes.
Okay. We discussed it before the Raw review. We discussed it. They did a 1.175. We give our reasons why we thought. This show is just shows you when you got a little bit more star power against each other. I think the numbers are probably going to do better on these shows. Would you agree with that?
Well, of
Because you had
course,
Sammy against Moxley, Jericho against Bryan Danielson. You had the Swerve in their glory.
We said that shouldn't have been the main event because it's not star power.
Right. So it just shows you maybe like I don't know.
You know what? When I see Utah versus Wheeler as the main event, this is what I think of. You know when they put a UFC fight on for free and it's two guys and you're like, I could skip.
Right.
You probably don't know one of them or both of them. That's how I feel with Wheeler. It's like you've got all these superstars and that's who you're featuring. It's okay to push them, but don't over push them.
Right. Like, for example, like if I'm watching the prelims and on UFC and they'll show a guy and he looks like different. He's got long hair, curly hair, and he's talking, he's like, it's like, okay, I'm going to watch this fight. But if it's like a boring guy, like, Russian and it's like very boring. It's like, you're not going to invest me into like watching a guy even if they're trying to tell me, hey, this fight's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I'm not that interested in these guys. They don't seem very charismatic, right? So that's what, like, exactly to your point. I would agree with that. So this match is it's Moxley versus Sammy. This was weird, but they ended up using. But Sammy came out without Tay Conte, which I thought was like, but that's your act. You should have come out. They should have come out with her, and then because. Bro, this is a good, Sammy takes good bumps. He does a lot of kind of unnecessary acrobatics just to do them, kind of like a lot of the guys do. But this was a decent match.
And not only that, you can use her to work the crowd while you're in there.
Right. I did not like of course, I don't know why they have to do this, but it started off. I almost was just going to fast forward to the whole thing where they're standing there and letting each other chop each other and slap each other in the chest. And I was like, you're not impressed with that either, are you? Like you could do, I don't know why these guys keep doing these spots. That match was
it's
good
like
enough.
A Japanese strong style.
I know, but it's like, it's not necessary. It's like, bro, this is you guys are fighting for the title. Why are you letting the guy?
Because as long as people go, woo, that to them is a pop and they'll do it.
But like beyond that spot, this rest of this match was pretty good. Because you have Moxley's been working bigger guys lately, so it's like maybe working a smaller guy is you always like working smaller guys because you can do more stuff to them and they take bigger bumps for you, right? But so halfway through the match, Sammy's getting the best of Sammy. So Tay and Anna Jay ran down to ringside and they're trying to act is about the best way I could describe it, and they distract the ref. The ref is, I'm not saying like this match was good. And when the girls came out and they got involved with the referee, I'm not being a hater. If I'm that age, I'm watching this, bro. This was just like all like bad acting broke out in the middle of the match. Like they're all over. It was just, so Tay comes in and kicks Moxley. It looked like she kicked him in the butt. But I guess it's supposed to be like she kicked him in the because he sold his, so it's like because it wasn't, bro. She did that spot where somebody should have known the spot should be you come in like China used to do underneath. You come right from behind him and you boom. You give the fist up to the ball because it's very visual and you punch the guy right in the face.
You can protect him.
Right, you can protect. That's what the spot should
you could really
like.
Kick the guy in the doing it like that.
Right, exactly. Okay, like when Dominic kicked Edge he kicked it from the front, which looks visual, but you can't really kick somebody in the from behind and make it look visual because it looked like you kicked him right in the butt, especially with the camera covered, right? So the Moxley did the thing where he does the elbow. Everybody's doing these elbows now, like this elbow MMA elbows, right? But they did a couple back and forths. Guevara rolled him up for near fall after the nut shot. It quickly went to the top rope for a swanton, but Moxley moved. They went for Wheeler Utah's seatbelt, whatever seatbelt roll up is. I don't even know what that is, but didn't quite get it. Guevara kicked out at 2. Guevara landed a series of kicks and went for the GTH again, but Moxley landed his feet and just lifted him up for the Death Rider and covered him. Kind of a weird. I had no problem with the finish, but I thought this being AEW, that they would do the 9 million false finishes and stuff, everything, but this worked because he just got out of his finish and hit him with his finish, and the match was over. That's it's fine. So what did you think of this match?
Yeah, good match, and I would rather have Sammy come out with the hot 2 chicks, have them at ringside.
Well, have the one, and then you could have had maybe like they do a spot where and then Anna comes out. And just have more elements, right? But he should come out with his act. His act is her and the girl.
And they also help you work the crowd, and you can use them for a spot if need be.
Absolutely. Right.
The one thing I do notice about Tony is that he starts every show off hot, whether it's a promo or a match, but he always likes to start it off hot. He doesn't always finish it hot, but he always does start it off hot.
Let me ask you guys.
I'm gonna slightly disagree here.
Right.
Okay. They always go straight. The show opens and they go straight to the entrance. No announcer's telling them what's on the show. No interview for what's coming next, and like maybe a Jericho interview or something. Just like there's no setup. They literally just start the second they go live. They go to the ring entrances, and I'm like, I think
that is weird.
Just fill it with like a minute, maybe a couple of guys talking about the match, something where it's like, but they just go straight to the match. So I'm.
What were you trying to interject, Joe?
No, Joe.
Have either of you guys, and I guess Konnan more specifically too, have you heard anything about Sammy leaving AEW?
No, nothing. Why have you?
Well, he tweeted 4 pictures from his AEW run, one with Cody, one of his first appearance, one with Jericho, and all that. He tweeted, "I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you're not, I hope you have the courage to start over again. We came up short last night. It is what it is. Thank you to everyone who has helped me get to this point. It's been a hell of a ride. Where we go next, we go with faith." So people are speculating, like, what's that? Is he leaving or?
No, he's probably playing off all this stuff that just created. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
I have absolutely no idea. Right?
I don't know why he leave, because he is a featured act, and I'm sure he's getting paid very well. And they got his friend there, which if you were to go to WWE, I don't think they're going to let him sign up his friend.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example. This is how they should have started this show, right? Because Moxley really doesn't do interviews because he's in the back corner of the arena or whatever, right? This would have been this is how they should have started the show. Okay, Sammy and Jericho are both in title matches, and they're all part of the Jericho Appreciation Society. You should have done a promo from their locker room. Talk them giving their point. They got matches. Okay, what if we fight? Just whatever. And then you go to Danielson and Moxley, and they cut a promo. And they talk about like, hey, we got So now we know there's 2 factions. That 2 of the guys are fighting 2 of the guys from the other faction, and the winners will fight each other next week. That should have been a promo segment to start the show. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they should have done.
Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!